Services we tried at the beginning of Autism Part 13. Look back about 10 or 15 videos before this for the other parts. We completed the IEP meeting with the school district. Using our lawyer, we now have to complete at least 60 days of data for Ella to go to public school to justify therapeutic placement. I forgot to mention that there was a rush on the situation because we had spoken to the therapeutic day school and they said there becomes an age where it's less likely to get in. The age range in the elementary classroom was like 5 to 9. So if you don't get in the elementary classroom, then the chances of getting in after that into like the middle school classroom are really low. Usually the kids that move up into the middle school classroom come from the elementary school classroom and they already have a placement here. It is possible that a student could come for therapeutic placement and then they could progress to the point where they go back to general education, but that's really rare. Usually if your condition is severe enough to meet the criteria for being placed in therapeutic day school, then you're usually going to continue to move up from elementary school group to the middle school group to the, I guess it would be like the high school group, be the next one. So I think that's from like 9 to 14 might be like the middle school group, and then 14 until like 21 would be the high school group. So usually these kids keep moving up into all of the groups. So if you don't get in the elementary classroom by the age of 9, your chances of getting placement at this school are lower and lower because I think there's only like 48 or 49 kids at the entire school. We knew that at this time, Ella was like 7 years and 3 months old at the time that we had this conversation with the lawyer. And then the IEP meeting took place at 7 years and like 4 months. Okay, so we have a lot to accomplish and to get the school district to agree to before she turned 9. So we felt like we wanted to start right away. That's why we started in September as soon as we got the knowledge that we needed of what needed to happen for her to be placed at this school that we felt was right for her. So she starts going to school. It was really hard for me to let her go that first day because I've never had her work with a teacher's aide before, honestly. And I will tell you, like I've said in some of my other videos, I believe teacher's aides can be great, or they can be like the ones that are great and really truly have experience with special needs children are like a needle in a haystack. Like I have a family member that's a teacher's aide and she's a great one. But to find those is so rare, and the requirements to be one are very low. So I think that's one of the scarier things as a parent of a child who is non-speaking is to have to send them into a situation that you don't really know what's going to happen when you leave. Of course, we asked to go for a tour before she started. We got to know all of the teacher's aides. We asked to meet with them. We asked to tour the classroom, to meet the teacher, to meet the occupational therapist, the speech therapist. Everybody that was going to be working with Ella, they all met in the evening after school was over, one evening, to meet Ella and us, and we got to see all of the areas that she would be frequenting during her day at school. They were really great about communication. Once we got the lawyer involved, it was like if I sent the teacher a message during the school day, she would get right back to me and she would let me know how Ella's day was going. Okay, so it wasn't like a horrible experience. It's just that let's cut to she's like going through the days and now she's like met her data and we decide that there's only like a few months left of the school year, so we're just going to finish it out while we decide what to do because ran into a lot of regression with Ella while she was in school. We had stopped ABA because we weren't able to have enough hours of ABA mixed with school to justify meeting goals. So ethically, they could not keep us at the center that she was at. I was going back and forth at the time because I knew that there was this other center that also had speech and OT, and they might be open to doing a little less hours if I decided to continue with school, or it would be a good environment for her to go while we were waiting for therapeutic placement because at least they had speech and OT under one roof. So I got the ball rolling on that ABA center, the new one. I cut ties with the old one. Ella went from being potty trained enough to almost have no accidents all day to being in underwear all day. to basically, when she went to school, they asked if she could be in diapers. And I think we were working on underwear, but then she would have accidents, and I think they would put her back in a diaper until we got to a certain point of progress. And then I think we would then try underwear again. It was like back and forth. I'm trying to remember exactly how it went, but it was to the point where she started having so many accidents. I was sending diapers just in case she was having an off day. And that seemed to happen a lot. Send her home in a diaper because just in case she had an accident in the car. And then I noticed in the evening, it was to the point where she was having so many accidents that I had to fully put her in diapers by the time she was done with school. I felt like whatever progress we had made on her iPad really wasn't being carried out in the same way in the school setting as it was in ABA, and we definitely regressed there. So our only form of communication was very limited already on the iPad. She was starting to a little bit intentionally request the bathroom and some sensory items, and that even went away by the end of the school time that we had. So at this point, I knew that I just didn't see any benefit in continuing this program. I knew it was an option. They ended up getting us evaluated and everything for the new ABA center, and I made the decision that even though the school that we were trying to get her in for the therapeutic day school, it seemed like it might be a long shot for them to agree, I wanted to go back to private therapy. So we had moved in the meantime to a different school district, and I felt comfortable moving here because we had such pushback about the fact that the school district that we lived in before was going to definitely be like a hard no on the therapeutic placement, that the likelihood was so low that they would place her. And the new school district, we had a private speech therapist that had success with a boy that was in that same district, and the school district came to observe him at ABA, and they immediately decided to place him in therapeutic placement at this same school. Because in her mind, this child was very similar in behavior to Ella. She felt like there's potential there. So we at least knew that it had happened for somebody. So the school year is over. We have a start date for our new ABA center. We decided to pursue the private therapy yet again and private speech and OT. Now we have to have a call with our lawyer and the school district to let them know what we decided about ending our time at this program that we were at. And then we had to wait for a meeting to follow up with the new school district to decide what we were going to do moving forward.